Hey there, Data Nation, it's Ryan, and welcome back to our series on the data driven startup. Today, Al and I go through and select a bunch of different domains, and what we're going to do with that information is we're going to submit several of those in a survey on LinkedIn and see which one you guys pick. We're super stoked to continue building this business using data. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe. All right, so we did a little pre-recording discussion, but this
I think of it like Game of Thrones, man. You just get thrown in the middle. Like our audience just has to drop in and you know, you're at Winterfell and you spend 7 seasons trying to figure out just what the hell is going on in episode 1. So
right,
there's precedent for this.
Marketing analytics is coming, right? That wasn't a good pun.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we're struggling with is, like, you know, we've got this product concept, and it's like, but the product is the product, like the brand, and do we want to just put all our eggs in like that basket, or do we want to create something a little bit bigger, or do we want to go, like, you know, huge? So I think the idea, or what we settled on, is like somewhere in the middle, where we're going to create some kind of website brand that also, you know, it starts with like a product that we sort of test market, and then eventually, like, we can, if we want to, add additional products, but almost like short term, we're just kind of like building the brand with this one element in it. Does that sound like, yeah?
Yeah, and so since I'm already hitting you up with crazy metaphors today, I already, before we hit record, I was talking about like the Joint Strike Fighter and the spiral development and the expansion of technology. But you ever see those Twitter threads where it's like the person just wrote the Great American Novel, and like, but they just respond to each tweet because you only have 280 characters. So like the first tweet says like 1 of 47. And then they mark each tweet so they're still in order. Like and then sometimes people are just starting to write and they're just like 1 of, and then it's just a question mark. I feel like that's what we got.
Yeah.
Like the initial iteration of the website is 1 of, it might be 1 of 1. Who knows? If we get bored and, you know, and it crashes and burns and we're like, well, that was boring, and, you know, life just goes a different direction. But yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be 1 of 20. Who knows?
Yeah, you know, somebody made a movie out of one of those Twitter threads.
Really?
Yeah, it was this girl, woman that like got looped into some crazy, like, she went to, like, she was either like visiting a friend, or her friend, like, this one, like, woman that she didn't know that well asked if she wanted to like make some extra cash, and it turned into this like whole crazy thing. I'll have to find the name of it.
Wow.
Okay. I watched it. It was really interesting movie, and it was like, it blew up. It was like a big, like well-known Twitter rant thread.
Yeah.
That this girl put out. Okay. All right. So we have this product called To Be Determined, but it's something.
Yeah. The endless Twitter thread.
Yeah, the endless Twitter thread. So Al's product is, you know, like this 30 to 40 actionable items. It's like LinkedIn hard mode, book guide thing that is in the works, which I think is like very much like it's like multifaceted, right? Like you're sort of like building a sphere of influence, or a sphere of, like, you're building some kind of your presence, positioning yourself as a leader in a space.
Yeah.
And using and leveraging LinkedIn in particular to do that. But, and also, I think, I mean, it sounds like it has led to some pretty good opportunities. Both, you get free swag, you get,
yep.
I'm not sure if your current position, like, was that in part as a result of your LinkedIn?
It absolutely was. Yeah, that's a long story. I don't know if we want to get into it here, but I've told it a time or two. But yeah, absolutely, opportunities that came up because of because I dove into LinkedIn and personal branding just before I retired from the military.
Yeah, so there's like a personal branding component.
Yeah.
I think, just the idea of this website could be an extension of not just marketing analytics, but just like some of those passions or
Sure.
things that we're doing. So it's, like there's some LinkedIn over here, and then there's some data-driven demand generation over here, and then maybe some business acumen stuff, some more tactical things. The potential for books, for courses, for, maybe just some exclusive content. I think all those things are possibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
That is core. What should we call this thing? Or what I would like to use data in some way to kind of figure out what we want to call it.
Well, and I think data driven, like any variation or play on the current name of the YouTube channel is that has merit as well. It's not it's not a household name, but it's it's something, it's a name that exists and has some sort of brand. So and it's not, I can't think of a better name off the top of my head. So yes, some kind of variation of that. Data driven demand products. No, it's too commercial.
Let me just do something that's one of my favorite pastimes. Let's go to GoDaddy and we'll just start typing some shit in. What do you think?
Like it.
All right. Because, if the domain is not available,
yeah,
doesn't really make sense to put out a poll to like see what people think or to, put it in there. So I had, I don't even know if I have like data-driven demand generation is probably not what we would go with. It's like way too long.
Yeah.
I may have like purchased this domain. No, data.
There you go.
Demand generation.
Okay. Squat on it for a penny. That's cool.
So let's make it yours to start. And then one of the things, Data Nation was one that because I always say like, what's up, Data Nation, which is stupid, but it's fine. So there's a great alternative. There's no Data Nation. DataNation.com, I think, is taken.
Yeah.
But we could look at.
I've always wondered what's like back in the day, I toyed with the idea of getting a good portfolio website. Never really did it. I did one on Google Sites that's, I suppose, still there. But yeah, I started asking people about different site names. And I remember getting a lot of people saying, hey, like the .com is a big deal. And these other suffixes are kind of a deterrent. I always kind of wondered, and maybe this is something you've looked into, like how much of a deterrent is that? Because I know the .io is getting a lot bigger, and obviously .org and all that sort of thing is pretty well known. But like, how much of a hit do you take if people identify with your everything before the dot, and then that suffix is not a com?
I'm not sure if there's a huge, like from a SEO perspective, if there's a huge like impact to your ranking. Like really most search engines now are sophisticated enough where if you have a lot of good quality content and you own that domain, like say you own like a .us or a .co or a .io domain, and you're creating a bunch of good content, if somebody like Google's, say it's like datanation.io, which we could just let's just add it to cart for right now. We'll try not to spend like $1,000 on today.
Yeah. Just squatting on all the names we might use.
Yeah.
I suppose you'd figure if they're available now, after all the time of the internet being in existence, that they'll probably be good for another, week or two, a
another
month.
week or two, unless like you're so
Yeah.
popular, somebody like if we because my thought was like let's do a poll and probably
Yep.
leverage your network because you've got what like 18-19,000 followers and I got only like 2,000. So
Yeah.
we like put like which here's like the 10,000 foot view of what we're doing and then like which domain do you think is the most relevant.
Yeah.
uh, you know maybe somebody buys it and to screw us over, but I doubt it. Anyways, but so to answer your question about the .coms, I think the big thing is like .com, like it's a branding thing. So
Mhm.
owning the .com is better, right? Owning datanation.com is a much easier recall for somebody than datanation.io or something
Yeah.
like. Um, I have purchased certain domain names that have like a little bit more value, like singular versions of plurals. Like there's actually a company out there, I think it's called adshoppers.com, and like for whatever reason I was just like on GoDaddy and I typed in like adshopper.com and it was available and I bought it just because I was like, oh, this is a really
Yeah.
close variation of the name. And ad shopper to me was like, I mean, it's like a shorter phrase. It's
Yeah.
like to optimize around, but I think if you add shoppers and then if you type adshopper.com, it redirects to fungi marketing.
Nice.
Um, not that we're like trying to steal their business or anything. The guy did reach out to me, like the president or something at one point, and he was like, would you take $50 for it? And I was like, well, I already paid like $100 to register. No. And he was like, well, you can just, what do you say? He's like, you could just redirect it as like an affiliate. And like every time somebody buys from this domain, we'll give you 10% or buys the service from this domain. So I tried that for like 6 months and got nothing. And I was like, well, I'll just redirect it to my site for right now because who cares? But that's like
Nice.
an example of like if you have an IO version, but then everybody
Goes
thinks
to the .com.
datanation.com, then it does kind of like detract
Yeah.
from. So, and you can actually see datanations.com is like 4,700. So I don't know how much datanation would be. Anyways, and then I tried what like dddg.com, taken 3dg.com, taken. So there, you just kind of keep experimenting around,
Yeah.
see if you can find something. I don't know if I want to call it marketinganalytics.com. I'll just keep typing in stuff until we come up with something that we
Yeah.
like. But yeah, I mean, part of me is also thinking though, like so this LinkedIn thing is not necessarily, that's not really like data focused per se. I mean, it is that like there's components of it that have data in it. But I
Mhm.
wanted to like kind of merge those two or come up with
Yeah.
branded concept. We're kind of talking more about like a mix of like business and networking and data and
Yeah, absolutely.
strategy.
So would datadrivendemand.com work?
Bastards. You know what? I
Well,
might have actually purchased one of these domains. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
yeah.
Here, let me pause my screen share because I might already own this. Let me
Yeah.
go to my products and because I own way too many domain names. Let's see. Okay, I don't own I don't own any of those domains. So we should get a data-driven one because I think that would be good to have. I do own ryanforest.com.
Hey.
Do
So
you
I had a guest on a podcast, an analytics podcast I listened to. They had a guest recently who's like all in, tech, works for, I think she works for like iRobot. But she's very much into like data privacy and kind of the cutting edge of, what should you share, what shouldn't you share, and at one point she said, "Hey, I'm squatting on the domain names for, I don't know if she had 2 or 3 kids, but my kids' names."
Yeah.
So like RyanBellamy.com for me, like.
Did you get yours? Do you have Al Bellamy?
I didn't. And I honestly didn't really. I found it just kind of intriguing at the time, but then now that you're looking these up, I'm like, oh yeah, I should see. Like, yeah, I don't have my own either. I'm not squatting on any names, but
see,
yeah, mine was going to be Major Data, and I'm still kind of having a love-hate relationship with that. I use it as a hashtag on LinkedIn. But it's like, I don't know how long I want to kind of tie my brand to a military rank, which, just between you, me, and the wall wasn't all that impressive anyway. So yeah.
I like Major Data. I think that's clever.
I liked it because of, just because it's kind of a play on words. It's, reference to, I don't know if you remember the TV show Major Dad. That was kind of funny show.
Yeah.
But at this point you've got to be mid to late 30s or higher to remember that show anyway. So
yeah. Hey, you need to go buy your domain names. They're both
okay.
Cool. So Al Bellamy and Albert Bellamy. I would
just a penny with a 2-year registration. Okay.
I would do it just because, like, I'm glad I got RyanForest.com because there's like a shit ton of Ryan Forests out there now that are. And that, like, I can't get a unique, like, I couldn't do Ryan Forest at Gmail, Ryan.Forest, or like any of those variations of those names, or like like all the socials and stuff. It's all taken, but I own the .com.
The domain. Nice. Okay.
But yeah, so wait, Major Data. This will be a slight.
That one was taken, I think. Yeah.
I always like to look and see what. Team collaboration. I got a 2022 copyright on it. Okay, so we've got data-driven demand generation.com, but that's like a pretty
yeah. Well, so what terms do you think would encompass personal branding, networking, marketing? I mean, you start talking about marketing. I mean, so you've got the kind of marketing writ large. Everybody's marketing, everybody's selling. If you're on social media, you're selling yourself in some form.
Yeah.
But I mean, is there an umbrella term that we can incorporate that would kind of evoke images in people's minds, like, this is a source for knowledge of, small business marketing, personal branding. I just don't know that there's a way to encompass that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, a lot of I think because it's like there are a lot of like different points, like it may be better if we don't focus so much on like specific keywords in the name. And it kind of becomes more like, I don't know, the Dated Dudes, or like it could be something more fun but still memorable. I'm sure Dated Dudes, that's kind of lame, but dateddudes.com is probably taken. Yeah. Dang.
.info. I've never even heard of that. Okay.
So this will be another not so data-driven discussion today.
Yeah.
The pile onto our previous not so
data-driven. Yeah. As yet unpublished.
This whole outline is like all just like our brain.
Yeah.
stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. This is good. Because at the end of this conversation, we'll have decided on some kind of name or a set of names that we think is a good option.
Yeah. Where'd you go to college?
Oakland.
Yes,
school.
The degree says Maryland, but that was a long story. So
did you do ROTC?
No, something somewhat different. So I enlisted first. I originally went to Ohio U, and then I enlisted, dropped out of that, thank God, and joined the Marine Corps, and then finished years later at Maryland through a Marine commissioning program. So
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Did they still supplement your tuition and all that?
Not really. It actually was just a little bit ago I finished paying off my last loans. So
nice. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like just a couple years ago, I finished my last. And thank God, I mean, I didn't have nearly as much as like I got some family, man. They got like, Jesus, like let's just say it's in the 5 figures, not quite 6 figures, but it's like enough that I'm like, how are you gonna pay that off? But it's fine.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I had like, I don't know, 25,000-30,000, I think I owed that. Anyways, we don't have to talk about that. So I went to Oakland, you went to Maryland. Why'd you ask that question? It was maybe the better.
I was just thinking, so I was, something about, we're both from North Carolina, like, Tar Heel marketing, or
Tar Heel.
North Carolina Data Collective. I don't know.
Ooh, NC. Well, they Kakalaki, that's like a North Carolina thing.
True.
You were not originally from North Carolina, right?
No, I'm from Ohio. So.
And I'm from Michigan.
Yeah.
So maybe we could call it like the Yankee Data Collective, because that's play on both us being from up north and now living in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like the Data Collective.
Yeah.
Gosh, dang it.
Try NC Data Collective. I'm sure that's not taken.
I want to see what's DCVC.
Oh, it's just a redirect.
I'm sure NC Data Collective is available.
Hey.
Put that in the cart as an option. I always hear on the
it's not super descriptive of what we're doing, but
yeah,
it's intriguing, that's for sure.
Yeah. Data Collective. I mean, I feel like we could really just it could really be anything, just so long as it's like memorable and easy to recall. The recall thing to me is like whenever, because I actually just had this discussion with one of my clients. They own this like 180-acre property in it's like near Boone, North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, I was just out there watching my son play ball.
Nice.
Beautiful country.
Oh yeah, it's so lovely. And like, so like it's like kind of near the Blue Ridge Parkway, and they were trying to like come up with, they were like, what's a good SEO friendly domain name? And I was like, I mean, it could really be anything you want it to be, so long as it's available. Blue Ridge, I think we settled on like Blue Ridge Properties or Blue Ridge.
Okay.
And he has like glamping and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And then he's gonna build like Yomes, and he's got a cabin, and I forget why I thought of all of that. Oh, because he was trying to like come up with these like, Blue Ridge glamping and blah blah blah, and it was like, no, that's way too long. People will not.
Long and clunky.
It's got to be like real quick and easy to recall, like Data Dudes, or like Data Collective is a cool name. I wish it was available. All right, let's keep going. My subtotal is up to $160 so far. I don't think we're gonna drop one of those more expensive domains.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I am a big fan of the .coms. I own a couple US and a couple like .net.
What about something like personal marketing? And then that something more like that would encompass, that we're doing marketing things, and then that could be like a landing spot for the channel and the content we're doing here, but then also, you're marketing yourself, and then that relates to the product and the potential follow-on products that, hey, this isn't what you think of as marketing madmen, coming up with creative stuff. Yeah. Maybe data marketeers.
Ooh, how do you spell it? Marketeers.
Yeah, just one more E. There you go.
Taken. What is this? Come on. Data marketeers. This is some bullshit. All right. Site can't be reached. I'm gonna end up getting redirected to some spam website.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna just go straight to like porn or something.
I don't know why you'd want to send data marketeers to a porn site, but it's
I don't know.
Datamarketers.com, but
that's like, how anytime I type something into a search bar that's like even remotely like not sure where this is going to go, I just immediately assume it's like, yeah, it's going to go somewhere really horrible.
Yeah, it can happen.
I'm going to wind up explaining to HR why it's in my search history.
All right, let's go to our friend at Google Trends.
Data, so hot right now.
Hansel, he's so hot right now. I'm just curious to if we like look at some just some general terms.
Like everything is very popular in New York.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from all these graphs. New York loves the internet. All search terms. Yeah. Very interesting for New Yorkers.
I kind of want to take like a what's the word? Like a contradictory view. Like we could kind of do the opposite. Like there's a local taco place here that they're like, we're not a Mexican restaurant, we're a taco joint. And I feel like that's the vibe I want to go for. It's like we're not like your run-of-the-mill boring like data people. No offense to like basically everybody who follows.
No offense to boring data people. Yeah.
No offense to boring data people. Nobody wants to be a boring data person, and data can be interesting, but at the same time, you spend a lot of time doing stuff. So I want to like, I don't know, that could be like,
it's always mind blowing to me when I, having had my kind of the genesis of my data career just kind of publicized on LinkedIn, mostly by me. But I say that as if it was like done to me. But having kind of grown up very publicly, like, hey, LinkedIn Nation, what is SQL? So coming from that, I always find it very odd when I run into a data professional and I'm like, oh, let's connect on LinkedIn, and they're like, yeah, I don't use LinkedIn. I'm like, what? From another planet or something? But yeah, apparently there's just tons and tons of data people out there that do not exist on social media in like any real form. It's mind-blowing to me, but whatever. To each his own. You get all your jobs the old-fashioned way by submitting a resume and going on Indeed or something, I guess.
I need to hire a baker for our bakery, and we went through like Indeed, and
yeah,
it sucked. We have not found anybody. We've had so many interviews. But maybe I should try LinkedIn.
I don't know if the baker community is huge on LinkedIn. I'm not sure.
I know. See, that's funny because you'd think they're not, but like they're not huge on Indeed either, apparently.
Yeah. That's just a word of mouth thing.
Yeah.
That seems like that's one of those old timey professions where it's like, you must have an apprenticeship where it's like literally you graduate from grade school with your 3 R's, and then it's like you apprentice yourself to a master craftsman. 10 years later, your indentured servitude is done.
Right. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah.
When we could just have people be our servants.
Yep. And then if you didn't like the profession that your father picked out for you, you could just, run away and go to sea.
Yeah.
Join the Navy.
Yeah.
Simpler times.
Simpler times.
Some of us ran away and joined the Marines anyway, so it still works.
Yeah, who's that? Who does that?
No idea.
No idea.
Your problems follow you. I don't know who needs to hear that, but it's not like joining the Foreign Legion. If you're screwing something up and running away from it, it's going to catch up to you eventually.
Oh yeah, no, you can't outrun your problems.
No.
There's I don't drink. I quit drinking several years back, and they used to call it a location cure. People would like move thinking that it would stop.
Yep. Change the scenery. You're good.
But it's all, your inner demons are all still there, no matter where.
Yeah. This got dark in a hurry.
It did, yeah. All right. Demondata.com. That's what we're going to call this.
Yeah. Outrun your demons.
It's taken.
Jeez. Son of a. Yeah. Anyway.
I think
inner demon data.
Inner demon data. IDD. But I just can't believe that.
I'd love to have to explain this to somebody someday. Like, where did you get IDD from? It's like Matt Bratton, his site is TMB. And I think he did explain to me what that stood for one time, but I'm just going to go on thinking that it's themattbratton.com or the Matt Bratton Analytics.
I'd say like too much bullshit or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was something to do with somebody else he was collaborating with at the time, and they kind of fell off the radar, and he was like, well, this is the name, so we're good. Anyway, yeah. If we ever had to explain TDD, we'd be like, yeah, I don't even remember what that was. Hey, you suck at data. Available.
All right, let's just, if I can get it for a penny, I mean, geez.
Well, what's that? How does the money work with a 2-year registration? Like, do you get dinged because the subtotal seems to be going up far more than a penny each time?
It's funny because, well, first
off, this can be the usefulness of this. We can tell the people how to use GoDaddy. Yeah. Obviously, I'm unaware.
Right. Well, yeah, we can go through that process. Well, what it's doing too, I think, is they'll by default they'll add it as like a 5-year registration. So. What I'm really doing is adding it's a penny for the first year with a 2-year registration, which means it's actually $20 that you're paying for that domain on the first. Okay. You're getting the first.
It seems like they're getting you for what, $80 each time you throw something in the cart.
Yeah. So yeah, see how it's got registration.
5 years. You sneaky little snitches.
Sneaky little biatch. But I like you suck at data. It's kind of a fun.
That's kind of neat. Yeah, that's eye-catching.
I mean, and that doesn't have to be the end-all be-all domain, but how about you suck at marketing? I'll bet you that one's
Branding Bros. Yeah, probably.
Said Branding Bros.
Taken.
Hey, for 16 grand, you get Branding Bros.
I've got that. Yeah, I've got that in my back pocket to squat on some random mediocre website name.
How about Influencer Bros? We'll just go full gross.
Yeah. Just to pull up all the D-bag words.
Yeah. Oh man, influencerbros.com is available. Let's do it.
Hey.
For a penny.
How can you resist?
Yeah. I can't help myself.
Bundle your domain.
What about like data domination?
That's nice. That's got to be taken. Yeah. Now, what's the broker service fee? What does that do for you?
So the broker so you can pay $70 and their brokers will like reach out to the owner of the
They'll go try and negotiate whoever has it
they'll like
to buy
say,
from them.
are you willing
Gotcha.
to sell it? And then if they are, then they'll say, here's how much they're willing to sell it for. And then they kind of play this like it's almost like a realtor game where they'll be like, yeah, like he said like he wouldn't sell it for anything less than like 3,000, but I think if you came in at like 2,750, he'd do it or something like that. And it's all bullshit. They've already got
Yeah.
predetermined domains. It actually happened with
Datadomination.net seems like a reasonable or indeed a great alternative, as they say.
We'll throw that on there.
I mean, it's $15, but that's a pretty solid name, I think.
Yeah. Is there anything like shorter, more concise, or I think where I'm getting hung up on the name is the concept of like we need to have some like it's not just data, it's not just marketing, it's not just branding, it's kind of like this combination of all three.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, does the word branding has kind of that corny buzzword affiliation to it, but the word brand kind of, that seems to me to be the one thing that encompasses all of it. Like if you're going and doing marketing for a company, if we're sitting here talking about we're starting a small business and marketing that thing, that's brand, that's our concern. And then you're talking about a personal brand and relates more to, what I'm doing and talking to people about on LinkedIn. It's, I think incorporating the word brand and not branding is probably a little more inclusive of all of those buckets.
Databrand.com. Databrand.co is available. Databrandmarketing.com. That's, let's throw that in there.
Almost seems like you're just trying to combine too many words. It's like let's throw in all of the words that define us.
I feel like I liked databranded.com because both of us are like data focused, and then the branding component, but it's not available. Databranded.coms. I just hate the .nets. I mean, I don't hate them, but I just wish we had like I just want a .com is what it is.
Yeah.
Data brand.
Brandedanalytics.com.
Oh, damn, I thought we were gonna get it.
Nah, too common
conversation and like buying these like as we're searching it. Experienced professional BI consulting, MS Analytics.
That's a redirect, MS Analytics.
Yeah.
Why would they need branded? That doesn't, anyway, whatever. MS
Whatever,
Analytics.
I'm not sour about it. It's fine.
Yeah. Better that you took the nickname that I probably wasn't going to pick anyway.
This is gonna have to be our whole show for today.
Yep.
It's coming up with the names. Data branded, data brand. I mean, databrand.co.
Maybe it's yourdatabrand.com. Because that seems like it gets more into the, hey, are you a person? Are you a small business? Are you an LLC? It's regardless, it's your data brand.
I like that actually quite a bit. Yourdatabrand.com. Okay. I got a list. I think what we should do before I spend a bunch of money is we're gonna trust Hal's network. We'll put out a poll, we'll list all the names, and then we'll say which of these, and we'll have, however many that we can choose from. I think that's the way, and that'll be our first like actual data component. That'll be our first data point is is the survey.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, do it.
Cool. All right. Sounds good, man. I gotta also post the other video that we did 2 weeks ago. We'll get back on a weekly cadence though. I think
yeah,
all the personal stuff is.
I think as long as we're not holding up today's newspaper in the video, I think we can kind of plausibly deny when exactly we made it.
Yeah, they have no idea what what day it is. Cool. All right, sweet. Well, thanks for scheduling a little early today. And
yeah, man.
I'll get this updated. I'll send you the list so you can put it on LinkedIn and we'll see where that goes.
We'll do. We'll let it rip tomorrow.
Cool. Alrighty, dude. Have a
good one. Talk to you later.
See ya.